And I also hope that you are having a good day so far. All right, so today we will be doing our grade 6 English lesson on titles. So we will be doing our grade 6 English lesson on titles. And before we start our lesson on titles, right, we are going to log into aplusstudents.ca. You're going to log in with your username as well as your password. Once you've logged in with your username as well as your password, you're going to select the subject of language arts. And then we choose grade 6. All right, so once you have chosen grade 6, then you're going to scroll down up until you get to the chapter of titles. So our chapter is titles. The subject is English or language arts. And then grade 6. And then the lessons for today that we will be focusing on is capitalizing titles, formatting titles, formatting and capitalizing titles, and we will basically just do a whole review on that. So that is what we are going to be doing. All right, so now we're going into our lesson. So in a title, right, you need to capitalize the first word. You need to capitalize the last word. And you capitalize every important word in between. So if the word, so only if the word in between is important, then we capitalize it. But words such as if, or, and, we don't capitalize that. Right? We do not capitalize it. So basically in a title, we capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word in between. Also, when it comes to titles, right? This is now where or how or when you know or you need to know when to capitalize, right? So basically, titles are either titles of books, movies, plays, TV shows, magazines, or newspapers, right? Or if we capitalize titles, and it means to either be a poem, a song, an article, or short stories. So when it comes to titles of a book, titles of a movie, titles of a play, a TV show, magazine, or titles of a newspaper, then it should be underlined if you are typing or if you are writing. Or it should be in italics for typing only. So basically, the title of a book or the title of a movie or a play or TV show, magazine, or newspaper, right, you should underline the title. So the title should be underlined. That is if you are either typing it or writing it, or the title should be in italics. That is if you are typing it only. And an example of titles, right? A Midsummer's Night's Dream. A Midsummer Night's Dream, right? So, of course, the first letter of the title is capitalized, but if the A was in the middle of this title, and then it should have been lowercase. So, Midsummer Night's Dream, these are all important words. So, we need to capitalize it. So, then the title of a poem, right? So, if you are writing a poem or you are reviewing a poem, then the title of a poem, title of a song, title of an article, or the title of a short story, it should be in quotation marks. So if you are either writing a poem, song, article, or short story, it needs to be in quotation marks. And there we have an example, which is You Are My Sunshine. And we put it in quotation marks. So for now, we're basically only doing the titles of either books, movies, plays, TVs, magazine, newspapers, poems, songs, articles, and short stories, right? But also there are titles of names, names of peoples, as well as names of influence, right? These are also things that you need to capitalize. So before we go to our actual tutorial lesson, remember that in a title, we need to capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word in between. And we are doing our lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go back and go over the lesson, right, you can go to aplusstudents.ca. Our chapter is titles. The subject is English or Language Arts, grade 6. And the lessons that we are focusing on today is capitalizing titles, formatting titles, or formatting and capitalizing titles. All right, so now we're going on to our tutorial lesson, which is titles. So we're going into our first lesson, which is capitalizing titles. And we said that when it comes to capitalizing titles, right, then in the title we capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word in between. And an example of that is The Wind in the Willows. The Wind in the Willows. So the wind we capitalize, or the, which is the first word, willows being the last word, wind being part of the important words. So the wind in the willows. That is what we capitalize. Another title is James and the Giant Peach. James and the Giant Peach. We capitalize the first word. We capitalize the last word. And the important word also is giant. You see, words like and the, of, or, we don't capitalize those words. That is not seen as important words unless one of these words are the first word of the title. So basically, I said that and the, for example, it is not important right within the titles. So more words that are not important in titles are articles. So articles are not important in titles. So articles such as a, an, and the, right? These are words that are not important in titles. Like I say, unless these words are at the beginning or it's the first word of the title, then we capitalize it. But these words are not important if it's just in the middle of the sentence. And I made an example there of and the. It's not important. Short prepositions, right? So short prepositions such as at, by, for, in, of, on, to, and up, right? These are also words that are not important in titles. It is not important in titles. And there I made an example. In or the, that is not important unless these words are at the beginning of the sentence. As well as your coordinating conjunctions, it is not important. And the coordinating conjunctions are and, but, or. It is not important within titles unless it is the first word within the title, or maybe the last word in the title. But it is not an important word in the title that you need to capitalize. So basically, in a title, we capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word in between. All right, so now if we look at this, we said we need to click to capitalize the book's title correctly. So they already gave it to us. Step by Wicked Step. The Red Balloon. We need to capitalize the movie's title correctly. The Red Balloon. If we capitalize this movie correctly, how are we going to capitalize it? Remember, we said that the first word is capitalized, the last word is capitalized, and every important word in between. So, the Red Balloon. How are we going to capitalize this title of the movie? All right, so basically, if we capitalize this movie title, right, we see that the first word is capital letter, which is the last word is going to be capital letter, which is balloon. And I also feel that red is an important word because they are making mention of which balloon, the red balloon. So it's putting emphasis on what color balloon. So we capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word in between. All right. And remember when we also capitalize, right? You need to know when we need to either write it in italics, you need to know what we write in quotation marks, right? But in this case, it is just going to be straightforward where we capitalize titles and the words that is not important in titles, which is articles, short prepositions, and coordinating conjunctions. These are words that are not important in titles, which is articles, a and the, short prepositions, which is at, by, for, in, of, on, to, up, and coordinating conjunctions, which is and, but, or. All right, let's go to our test. So we are going to capitalize or click to capitalize the movie title correctly. Max Keeble's Big Move. So Max Keeble's Big Move. So if we click to capitalize the movie's title correctly, is it Max Keeble's Big Move or small letter or lowercase Max Keeble's Big and Move? So we need to click to capitalize the movie title correctly. All right, so the first one, and the first one is correct. So the first one is correct. So well done. We need to click to capitalize the movie's title correctly. So we need to click to capitalize the movie's title correctly. Is it The Elephant Man, or lower cases, or The Elephant Man? All right, so if we click to capitalize the movie title correctly, right? The first one, remember we said that the the first, last, and every important word in between needs to be capitalized. So which means that number two, we will choose that answer, which is The Elephant Man. Our first word, last word, and middle word is important. All right, so we choose option two, not option one. So if you chose option two, then well done. Option two is correct. We need to capitalize the movie's title. One Fine Day, or lower cases, One Fine Day. We need to click to capitalize the movie's title correctly. One Fine Day, capital letters, or lower cases, One Fine Day. Option one or option two. And if we choose or click the capitalize and capitalize our movie title correctly. And then we will say it's option one, where the first word is capitalized, the last word is capitalized, and fine is also important. So we are saying option one. Yes. We need to click to capitalize the movie's title correctly. Is it Max Keeble's Big Move, which is all lower cases, or Max Keeble's Big Move, all capital letters, meaning that the first word is capitalized, the last word movie is capitalized, and Keebles and big are important words, so they are also capitalized. So we are going to choose the second option. All right. So that is basically it on capitalizing titles. Now we're going to be formatting titles, right? We're going to be formatting titles. Oopsie. We're going to the second one. Oops, back. Formatting titles. So when it comes to formatting titles, right, we're going to have to know what is either capitalized, what is in italics, right? What needs to be in quotation marks. So if we write a title of a book, movie, play, TV show, magazine, or newspaper, right? Then it should be underlined, right? That is for typing or writing, or it can be in italics, and that is for typing only. So you can choose which one, right? And we already said that when it comes to titles, the first word, the last word, and every important word in between needs to be capitalized. But now, when we are writing titles, right, then books, movies, plays, TV shows, magazine, and newspapers, it should either be underlined or it should be written in italics. And here we have an example: A Midsummer Night's Dream. A Midsummer Night's Dream. And this is underlined. Or it can be in italics. Then even titles of poems, songs, articles, or short stories, it should be again in quotation marks. So titles of poems, songs, articles, or short stories, it should be in quotation marks. And an example is You Are My Sunshine, and that is in quotation marks. All right. All right. So now we are going to do a few activities. Which correctly shows the title of a movie? So which title shows the title of the movie? And there we have Field of Dreams, which is the first word is capitalized, the last word is capitalized. Of is not important, so we don't have to capitalize that. So, Field of Dreams. So, now which correctly shows the title of a movie? Remember, we see that the movie either needs to be in italics or it needs to be underlined. And a poem can be in quotation marks. So be glad your nose is on your face. All right. So that is the title of a poem. So you need to know how to write specific titles. Because remember, like we are saying now, with titles of either book, movie, play, TV show, magazine, or newspaper, you cannot write in quotation marks, right? You either need to underline the title of a book or movie, play, TV show, magazine, or newspaper, or you need to have it in italics. And we see that with the titles of poems, songs, articles, or short stories, it should be in quotation marks. So you don't put quotation marks by a book, movie, play, TV show, magazine, or newspaper, right? Because the short stories are already. All right, so now we're going to begin our test. So now, which correctly shows the title of a book? Is it I Took the Moon for a Walk or I Took the Moon for a Walk underlined? So which one is the correct title of a book? So is it either italics, which is I took the moon for a walk, or underlined, I took the moon for a walk? Which one is correctly, or which one shows the titles correctly? So if we choose the correct one, so we're going to choose the second option for a title of a book where we underline it. All right. Because remember, we said that the title of the book is either underlined or it is in italics. Which correctly shows the title of a movie? Is it Field of Dreams or Field of Dreams? So if we select the title of a movie and then we will choose the second option. We need to show the title of a TV show. A TV show. Is it you can't do that on TV or you can't do that on television? Sorry. So if we select the correct word, or it's not even the correct word, the correct form, either quotation marks or underline, we are going with underlined. Because quotation, it means that it's either that is a poem, song, article, or short story. That is what the quotation means. Whereas the underline, it indicates that a book, movie, party, TV show, magazine. So correct title of the TV show. So we're going to choose option 2. So if we correct the show and show the titles of a poem, and then we're going to choose the first one. Because remember, we see the title of a poem needs to be capitalized. All right. Which correctly shows the title of a play? The title of a play. Is it Hey, marks the spot, which is in quotation marks, or underlined, which correctly shows the title of a play? And if we choose the title of the play, we're choosing option 2. All right. So that was formatting titles. Now we are going to format and capitalize titles. And we're going to do a review on that, where we are either capitalizing as well as formatting the titles. So we're going to formatting and capitalizing titles. All right. So remember we said that in a title, right, we capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word. That is what we capitalize, right? And we made it a few examples. And the words that are not important are articles, short prepositions, and coordinating conjunctions. Yeah. So these words, which is articles, short preposition, as well as coordinating conjunctions, you do not write that in capital letter, right? It should not be written in capital letters. And then we see the title of a book, movie, play, TV show, magazine, or newspaper. It should either be underlined or written in italics. And in titles of a poem, song, articles, or short story should be in quotation marks. And there we have an example of You Are My Sunshine. And it is quotation marks. All right. So we're going to have to write the sentence correctly. The girl put the magazine, Horse and Rider, on the shelf. So we basically The girl put the magazine on the shelf. The girl then puts the magazine on the. So we need to choose one of the correct ones. Sorry, I am not checking. We need to basically check between one of these ones. Which one is correct? Is it the girl put the magazine, horse and rider on the shelf, or the girl put the magazine, horse and rider on the shelf? Title of a magazine. Should it be just normal capitalized? That is the first option. Or the second one is the title of a magazine being in italics. So if we choose the correct one, then we are going to say it is the girl put the magazine, horse and rider on the shelf. So a magazine, it should basically, which I underlined. And also we capitalize, like we said, the first word, the last word, and every important words in between. So we now need to say which one is correct. My friends never watched the TV show Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Hmm. In this case, the first word, the last word, and every important word is capitalized. All right. So now we need to say which one is correct. There's two sentences, right? Oopsie. There's two sentences with different titles in. So we're going to have to choose the correct one. So many people think the short story, which is The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, is important. Or do we say many people think that the short story is The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing is important? And remember, we say that our first word, last word, and every important word needs to be capital noise. So, short story. So, firstly, a short story is, it needs to be in quotation marks. And we say that the first, last, and every important word needs to be capitalized. But a short story needs to be in quotation marks. All right. Now let's go on to our test. So which is correct? So we need to say which sentence is correct. Is it I was excited to read the poem The Old Pond? Or the second one, The Old Pond? Or the third one, The Old Pond? So if we choose the correct one, we're choosing the first one. So I was excited to read the poem, The Old Pond, and the title of a poem. So basically, it is the third one because remember we said a title of a poem needs to be in quotation marks. All right. So which sentence is now correct? I'd like to win. I'd like to write a play like Sail or Return. Or I'd like to write a play like Sail or Return. Or we can say, I'd like to write a play like Sail or Return. A play. So a play, we basically don't put in quotation marks. So we're going with the last word. The last sentence. I'd like to, not even sentence, but yeah, I'd like to write a play like Sail or Return. Because remember we said if it's a book or it is a play or it is a movie, TV show, magazine, right, or newspaper, we either put it in italics alone. So we will choose the last one. I'd like to write a play like Sail or Return. Did you watch the movie The Princess and the Frog last night? Or did you watch the movie The Princess and the Frog last night? Well, the last one, did you watch the movie The Princess and the Frog last night? So we need to choose the correct one. They say a movie. So a movie is either underlined or it is in italics. So the first word is capitalized. The last word should be capitalized and every important word. All right, so if we choose the correct one, let's go with this one because these two are the same. All right, and one last one. Which sentence is correct? We don't need to say which sentence is correct. The girl puts the magazine Horse and Rider on the shelf. The girl put the magazine Horse and Rider on the shelf. So either the first, second, or third. So magazine needs to either be underlined or written in quotation marks, not quotation marks, in italics, sorry. So that is a magazine. So we select the correct magazine, we will say Horse and Rider. And the word and needs to be in lower cases. All right. So grade 6, this is now the end of our lesson on titles, right? And we said when it comes to titles, then in a title, we capitalize the first, the last, and every important word in between. Remember, we also did say that we do not capitalize articles, short prepositions, or coordinating conjunctions. So a, an, or the, we do not capitalize, right? Prepositions we don't capitalize, as well as coordinating conjunctions we don't capitalize. And when it comes to a title of a book, a movie, play, TV show, magazine, or newspaper, it should either be underlined or written in italics. And if we are either writing a poem, song, article, or short story, then it needs to be in quotation marks. All right, so that is basically the end of our lesson on titles. Thank you very much for joining the class, and you should have an amazing evening further. Goodbye.